Are there any major differences in this year's Han Kuang exercises compared to the years before?
I think the fact that they're using civilian airports is a pretty big deal. It demonstrates first off politically that Taiwan is taking this more seriously, right? If you're only focusing on the military and you kind of isolate the preparations for the military, it doesn't really have much an effect on the general population. It also means, therefore, that the general population isn't as engaged in, say, civil defense and preparation. I think also the fact that they're calling up the reservists, again, the same sort of kind of political or foreign policy signal that it's not just the elites or the political leaders, but the general public that's going to have to take part and prepare themselves for Taiwanese defense. So right off the bat, I think that's a big shift right there.
There's been debate over what kind of defensive strategy Taiwan needs, whether it be an asymmetric strategy with more mobile systems or a traditional defense strategy with things like tanks and fighter jets. But what do you think? What do you think Taiwan should pursue in its defensive strategy?
Taiwan needs to do both things, right? It's not just that on the asymmetric side. Sure, having all the many small things are really important, as we've seen in Ukraine, for a small force to defeat a conventional invasion. But these sorts of sovereignty challenges, median line crossings, maritime coercion, where you need the symmetric forces of fighter jets or large naval vessels. So, unfortunately, Taiwan needs to do both. And if it's going to concentrate on one, if it's going to focus on the invasion, for example, then it needs to find some way to offset Chinese advantages in the other sort of gray zone symmetric area.
Another thing that Taiwan is focusing on in this year's exercises is air defense. Why is the Defense Ministry emphasizing this, and what is the importance of that?
Well, I mean, air superiority, or at least denying the enemy air superiority, is extremely important to not just the direct military conflict side, but also on the logistics side. Taiwan has to rely upon shipping. And one of the easiest ways for Chinese forces to disrupt that is the use of its rocket forces or its air force. They have the range, they have the speed, they have the capability. So the more that Taiwan is able to deny air superiority to the Chinese forces, the easier it is not just for the military fight, but also for the logistics fight.